Your grandfather worked 40 years at one company. He retired with a pension, a paid-off house, and enough savings to live comfortably until he died. He never had a side hustle. He never invested in crypto. He never optimized his personal brand. He just worked hard, and it was enough. You are working harder than he ever did. Two jobs, side hustles, overtime, hustle culture, never stopping, never resting, always grinding. And you cannot afford to buy the house he bought on one salary in his 30s. Something fundamentally broke between his generation and yours, and it was not your work ethic. My name is MoneyTruth, and today I am going to show you exactly what broke, when it broke, and most importantly, what the people who are still building wealth in 2026 are doing differently. Because here is the truth nobody in the hustle culture world wants to admit. Hard work is necessary, but hard work alone has not been enough to build middle-class wealth since approximately 2005. And the people who keep telling you to just work harder are either selling you something or they built their wealth before the rules changed. Subscribe right now if you want the financial truth that hustle culture does not want you to hear. Now, before I explain exactly why hard work stopped being enough, I want to show you something that will make this very real very fast. In 1979, the average American needed to work 306 hours at minimum wage to pay 1 year of college tuition at a public university. 306 hours, about 15 weeks of full-time work. Today, the average American needs to work 4,449 hours at minimum wage to pay 1 year of college tuition at a public university. 4,449 hours. That is more than 2 full years of working every single day. Same task, same goal, 14 times more work required. That is not a motivation problem. That is not a discipline problem. That is not a work ethic problem. That is a system problem. And understanding that system is the difference between spending your entire life running faster on a treadmill that keeps speeding up and stepping off the treadmill entirely. For most of American history, from roughly 1945 to 1975, there was a direct, reliable relationship between working hard and building wealth. You worked hard, your wages went up, the economy grew, workers captured a fair share of that growth. Housing was affordable, education was accessible, healthcare was manageable. The system rewarded effort, not perfectly, not equally, but reliably enough that the average hardworking person could expect their life to get measurably better over time. Then something started shifting in the mid-1970s. Corporate profits and worker wages, which had moved together for 30 years, started to separate. Slowly at first, then faster, then dramatically. By 1980, the separation was visible. By 1990, it was significant. By 2000, it was alarming. By 2026, it is undeniable. From 1948 to 1973, the golden era of American hard work paying off, worker productivity increased by 96.7%. Worker compensation increased by 91.3%. Workers got almost exactly what they earned. Productivity up, wages up. Almost perfectly in sync. From 1979 to 2022, the era of hard work stopping to pay off, worker productivity increased by 67.3%. Worker compensation increased by only 17.3%. Productivity went up 67%, pay went up 17%. The 50-point gap between those two numbers represents decades of wealth that workers created but never received. You are not imagining it. You are not lazy. You are not doing it wrong. You are working in a system that was redesigned very deliberately to capture most of the value you create before it reaches your paycheck. So where does the value of your hard work actually go? It goes through 4 specific capture mechanisms that most working Americans never see. Capture mechanism number 1, wage suppression. In 1965, the ratio of CEO pay to average worker pay at large American companies was 21 to 1. Today, that ratio is 399 to 1. The average S&P 500 CEO now earns in a single day what the average worker earns in an entire year. Your hard work is worth more than your paycheck says it is. The difference between your actual value and your actual pay is the profit margin on your labor. Capture mechanism number 2, inflation targeting. The Federal Reserve officially targets 2% annual inflation. What that means in practice is that every single year, the purchasing power of the dollar you earn is designed to decline by approximately 2%. If your wages do not rise by at least 2% per year, you are getting a pay cut every single year without anyone telling you. Over 20 years of 2% annual inflation, a dollar becomes approximately 67 cents. You need to earn 50% more just to stay in the same place. Capture mechanism number 3, the asset price explosion. When the Federal Reserve prints money or keeps interest rates low, that money flows disproportionately into assets, stocks, real estate, bonds. The people who already own assets get richer as asset prices rise. The S&P 500 has increased by over 600% since 2009. Home prices have increased by over 200% in the same period. Meanwhile, median wages have increased by approximately 30% before adjusting for inflation. Asset owners got 600% richer, hard workers got 30% richer. Hard work and asset ownership are not the same thing, and the gap between them grows every single year. Capture mechanism number 4, the debt trap. When wages do not keep up with the cost of a middle-class life, people borrow. The average American household pays approximately $6,000 to $8,000 per year in interest payments, credit cards, auto loans, student loans, mortgages. That $6,000 to $8,000 per year is the direct transfer of your hard-earned income to the financial sector. Over a 40-year working life, $7,000 per year in interest payments represents $280,000 that left your household to fund someone else's investment returns. Now, here is the question that this entire video is building toward. If hard work alone is no longer enough, what is? I'm not saying stop working hard. Hard work is still necessary. It's just no longer sufficient. The people who are building real wealth in 2026 are working hard and doing something else. They are making their money work as hard as they do. They're not just trading their time for money. They're building systems that generate income independently of their time. And that transition from trading time for money to having money generate money, that is the single most important financial move available to a middle-class person in 2026. The people building wealth in 2026 understand one fundamental truth that the hustle culture movement has completely missed. Income is not wealth. Assets are wealth. Your salary is an income stream. Income streams can stop. Assets generate income independently of whether you show up tomorrow. Here is the difference in practice. The hard worker who earns $80,000 per year and spends $78,000 has $2,000 in net worth growth per year. The asset builder who earns $70,000 per year, spends $55,000, and invests $15,000 has net worth growing by $25,000 to $30,000 per year, even though they earn less. After 20 years, the hard worker has approximately $40,000 in savings. After 20 years, the asset builder has approximately $800,000 in investment assets, generating $30,000 to $50,000 per year in passive income. Same 20 years, same amount of work, completely different financial outcomes. The difference is not how hard they worked. The difference is what they built with the gap between their income and their spending. Index fund investments, the most accessible asset available to any working American. $500 per month invested in a total market index fund at 8% annual return becomes $745,000 over 30 years. You do not need to pick stocks. You do not need to watch the market. You just need to invest consistently and let compound interest work. Real estate done strategically. Not buying a house at today's inflated prices. Buying income-generating real estate in markets where the numbers make sense. A rental property generating $400 per month in cash flow after all expenses is an asset paying you $4,800 per year whether you show up to work or not. 5 such properties, $24,000 per year in passive income that does not require your time. Skills that scale. Building skills that generate income beyond a single employer. Digital skills, technical skills, creative skills. But the key distinction is this. Hustle culture says use those skills to work more hours. Wealth builders use those skills to build systems that generate income without requiring proportionally more of their time. Here is a single most important mindset shift available to a middle-class person in 2026. Stop asking, how do I earn more? Start asking, how do I build more? Earning more is about increasing the rate at which you trade time for money. Building more is about increasing the value of assets that generate money independently of your time. When most middle-class people want to improve their financial situation, their first instinct is to earn more. Get a promotion, ask for a raise, take on a second job, pick up extra shifts, start a side hustle. But here's a trap. Most people who earn more spend more. Lifestyle inflation captures the additional income almost immediately. The person earning $60,000 who gets promoted to $75,000 does not automatically have $15,000 more to invest. They have a nicer apartment, a newer car, more restaurant meals, better vacations. Lifestyle expanded to meet the new income. Net worth barely moved. Earning more without changing what you do with the additional income is a treadmill. A faster treadmill, but a treadmill. The building more mindset treats every income increase as a building opportunity, not a lifestyle upgrade. The promotion from $60,000 to $75,000 produces not a nicer apartment, but an automatic increase in monthly investment contributions. The raise becomes an asset. The bonus becomes an asset. The tax refund becomes an asset. Every additional dollar of income gets evaluated through a single lens. Does this go toward lifestyle, or does this go toward building something that generates income independently of your time? Track your net worth every single month. Not your income, not your spending, your net worth. Total assets minus total liabilities. When net worth becomes your primary financial scoreboard, every financial decision automatically gets evaluated differently. The $800 car payment that feels like a reasonable expense looks completely different when you watch it keep your net worth flat month after month. The $500 monthly index fund contribution that feels like a sacrifice looks completely different when you watch it push your net worth up every single month. The number does not lie. The number does not accept excuses. The number either goes up or it does not. New rule number 1. Own before you optimize. Before you optimize your hustle, before you optimize your productivity, before you optimize your morning routine, own something. A share of the stock market, a rental property, a business with systems, something that generates value independently of your time. New rule number 2, the 20% rule. Every time your income increases, 20% of the increase goes directly to asset building before lifestyle sees a single dollar. You get a $5,000 raise. $1,000 per year goes to investments before anything else. You get a $10,000 raise. $2,000 per year goes to investments automatically. Over a career of moderate income growth, this single rule can mean the difference between $200,000 and $800,000 at retirement. New rule number 3, debt is the enemy of asset building. Every dollar you pay in interest is a dollar that cannot build an asset. The average American pays $7,000 per year in interest. That $7,000 invested instead at 8% over 30 years becomes $860,000. Eliminating consumer debt is not just about reducing stress, it's about redirecting your income from the financial sector's assets to your own assets. New rule number 4, geographic and skills arbitrage. Earning in a high-cost market while living in a lower-cost market creates a savings rate advantage that compounds dramatically over time. Remote workers earning San Francisco salaries while living in Tulsa or Austin or Boise are executing one of the most powerful wealth-building strategies available in the modern economy. New rule number 5, time and market over timing the market. The person who invested $500 per month for 30 years regardless of market conditions ends up with approximately $745,000. The person who tried to time the market typically ends up with 40 to 60% less. Time and market is the rule. Everything else is noise. Your grandfather's formula worked because the system delivered on its end of the deal. Work hard, get a fair share of what you produce, build a comfortable life. That deal expired somewhere around 2005, and nobody sent you a memo. The system today still takes your hard work. It just no longer automatically converts it into wealth. You have to make that conversion yourself, deliberately, systematically, starting as early as possible. Hard work is not enough, but hard work plus asset building, hard work plus the 20% rule, hard work plus net worth tracking, hard work plus the new rules, that combination is enough, more than enough. The people building generational wealth in 2026 are not working less than you. They are directing more of their work's output towards assets that compound instead of lifestyles that consume. That shift in direction, not an increase in effort, is what separates the people who achieve financial independence from the people who retire wondering where 40 years of hard work went. The rules changed. Now you know the new ones. Subscribe to MoneyTruth because understanding the new rules is the most valuable thing nobody ever taught you.